All right, how you doing? Good morning. This is Kevin McGonigal with DDSmatch. Today I'm here with my guest, Nick McGone from Campania Wealth Management, a division of McGone CPAs with its home in central New Jersey. Nick, thanks for jumping on. You want to just give us a little bit background on who you are and your involvement in dental, I guess.
Yeah, appreciate you having me on, Kevin. Pleasure to speak with you. So, Campania Wealth Management is, as you mentioned, an independent financial planning firm with a dedicated CPA arm. And so we focus in helping doctors in private practice develop, a wealth plan so that they can enhance the wealth of their practice and their overall life and retirement. And so we do that through a lot of coordinated planning, through retirement planning, tax planning, investment planning, and everything that goes into that.
So you kind of cover the full range from, day one till the end. And, I'm sure you've seen it all. What are three mistakes that you see practice owners make, throughout this process, not just in a practice transition, but in the lead up or early in their career? What are three things you can point to that maybe they could think about avoiding?
Yeah, great question. So the top three mistakes that we encounter, number one is the practitioner waiting too long to put a plan in motion. Coming to us with 6 months before you decide to exit, or anybody, will not lead to most optimal results and beneficial sale and exit. So you definitely want to put things in motion sooner, give this some thought a lot earlier, so that you don't feel like your back is up against the wall and you're rushing into a sale that's not going to bear the fruit that you want. Another area that we see is not having formal systems and procedures in place, along with non-existent online presence. All those things carry a monetary value. It's very important for somebody who's looking to buy your practice that they can comfortably step into your practice and operate it in a turnkey fashion. And so, having formal systems and procedures in place is very important, as well as being part of an online or even local community. Next, I would say, is not having formalized financials. Obviously, a little biased. Yeah, but we see, oftentimes a lot of practitioners are operating off of their own Excel spreadsheet, and really that's not going to cut it when you're trying to value your practice, because those are your inputs. They have no formal accounting. Not only that, but a lot of times doctors are mixing their personal expenses into their general accounting, which is driving down their their profitability, which has an impact on the multiple that you can sell for. So, having very clean and organized financials is very important.
Yeah, and I think what you're talking about a little bit is the marketability of the practice. In New Jersey, there is a strong and diverse buyer pool, but there's also a lot of options out there. So being able to stand out in a crowd and really being able to explain the value of your practice to someone who doesn't know your practice the way you do is really key to a good practice transition. So I really like what you're talking about there. Systems and procedures, making the practice easy to work with, clean data. We talk about this all the time. Can't stress that enough. And of course, starting too early. For many practice owners, the sale proceeds are a big part of their retirement strategy. Talk a little bit about the importance and the benefits of starting early and developing that part of the strategy.
Yeah. So we, from the onset of our conversations, we're always asking the practitioner from day one in planning, how do you envision exiting? What does that look like to you? What does that mean for you? What's the time frame? And these are very important things to start planting in the back of your mind, because it's going to have a ripple effect on the rest of your life and the rest of your planning. And so you want to develop that vision early on. It's never premature to start thinking about that. And then, it just gets revised as the years go on. And not only that, but there are strategies that you can implement to help you exit in a more tax efficient manner, right? So you're going to have this huge lump sum of cash, or maybe an installment sale, or whatever it may be. But how can you do anything to reduce and minimize the tax consequence upon exit? And by having a plan early on, it'll allow you to weigh your options, but also these strategies sometimes take time to put into motion, and so you can't really rush it. You want to leave yourself enough leeway. to consider your options. And then I would say, starting early will allow you to also marry those proceeds that you're going to have into an overall retirement income plan. And so we can marry that with what your lifestyle needs are, what your family obligations are, and everything else that you want to do as some short-term goals. We can have all of this laid out and chip away at it over time.
Yeah, and I think that's what's key there is nothing is set in stone, right? Things happen, things change. But when you start early and you have that team around you that has been, with you the whole time, you're able to respond and react to changes in a more positive way, where you've probably already even thought about those changes, or if this happens, then that, and that's really probably the key benefit of starting early and developing a plan. Before we wrap up here today, what's one good piece of advice that you might be able to share with practice owners who are somewhere along this journey of ownership, as they're thinking about the future?
Yeah, so what I would say is do not sign a letter of acceptance or intent until you sit down with your advisory team. You should bring your professionals together so that they in a collaborative setting so that you're not getting segmented advice. Oftentimes people are going to go to their accountant and their accountant's going to say one thing and then the attorney's going to say another and so on and so forth. Bring everybody together in a call. We often advocate to do this for our clients, and then everybody has a different vantage point that they're going to view this transaction from. And so we want to create that collaborative conversation so that, we can come to the best solution and strategy for you. And then everybody has their roles and how they implement that strategy. So I think that is the most important thing to consider, because once you have a letter of acceptance in place, everything becomes a little bit less flexible.
Yeah, great point. And dental is one of those industries that there's somebody in every area of dental who only works with dentists, legal, CPAs, insurance, negotiators, credit card processors, every aspect that you can think of it has a dental specific professional who speaks the language, understands the business, and can help you accomplish your goals. So, Nick, really appreciate you jumping on with us today. I think we are going to see you in December at the next meeting there. So looking forward to that. And that's it. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate it, Kevin. Take care.
All right, we'll see you.